Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach, 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒. Today we have Dr. Sharon Saline with us in our virtual studio, and today our topic was kind of a spin-off of an interview I did with her on Attention Talk Radio. And we were talking about people with ADHD. You'll do something, maybe there's an ADHD symptom, and you'll say, "I'm sorry." And we started talking about, is that apology genuine? And are you aware that sometimes you're just saying as a reflexive reaction? And today I wanted to talk about that a little bit and talk about maybe how neurotypicals might receive that, to create some awareness on your end. So Sharon, talk to us a little bit about, your experience with people with ADHD, and then they say they're sorry really quick, but they just kind of move on.
Well, I think one of the things that happens is a lot of people with ADHD feel bad about themselves. There's sort of a low level of persistent feeling bad because they're aware that they may have missed something. They're aware that they may have misstepped, missaid, misinterpreted. And so they want to kind of move on very quickly by saying, "I'm sorry, yeah, I got it, let's move on." And not really realize that the person that they're dealing with may need more than what seems like a throwaway apology. So to actually make the next step to accountability.
I think I really liked what you said, the throwaway apology. I know there was an individual in my life who there was a lot of throwaway apologies, and I got to where I really resented it, because it's like if they said throwaway apology, they didn't really have to do anything, and the burden kept following on me to kind of deal with it. And again, I got to where I was really resenting anytime they ever said "I'm sorry," and it actually created more of an issue between us. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that it's hard to actually say "I'm sorry" and hold that, because it's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to feel like they've disappointed someone or disappointed themselves. And so it takes that impulse control, that emotional regulation that we talk so much about, in order to pause and say, not just "I'm sorry," but wow,
yeah,
da 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 da, I wish I hadn't, blah, or I could have done this better. That's really the thing that people are looking for in an apology.
So again, this video, people always want answers. And sometimes it really depends on the situation, but this video is very much about creating the awareness that that's going on, so that you actually can think about what you're doing. So I know one of the things that I apologize a lot for, when I go to conferences and stuff, I have a lot of people coming up to me that are interested in coming on my video or my radio program, and I really, really, really struggle with names. And it's funny because I actually sit there and say, "Listen, I want you to know is that I apologize. My memory's not that really good at names, and I don't want you to feel bad. It's something I'm working on all the time, but don't feel bad about correcting me or asking me and kind of whatever." And what I'm trying to do in that situation, it's not a throwaway apology. I'm actually trying to engage them and let them know it's an area of a challenge for me that I'm working on, that I own. It's not an excuse. It's something that I own. And I struggle with it. I literally do, but it's a genuine apology that I'm doing that. Sometimes I'll even do it on the front side to adjust expectations. The point that I'm really trying to make, I'm conscious and not just saying "I'm sorry," move on that throwaway basis. And I think that my hope is this will connect a nerve with some of you out there to actually stop and think about what you can do to manage the situation a little better. Thoughts on that?
I think that's so brilliant of you, actually, because what you're saying is, you know what, I'm not good at this. I'm going to mess up. I'm sorry in advance. Please don't take this personally. So you're setting the tone for your interaction with people. What I'm thinking about more is like when you have sort of maybe flared up at somebody or freaked out a little bit, or, impulsively said something you wish you could suck back in, that you want to be able to say, "Hey, I'm sorry that I said that I did that wasn't kind or wasn't thoughtful." And the way that you can tell that you've upset someone is by their reaction.
Yes.
Look at their face. Even people who are less reactive than I am, I wear my feelings on my sleeve, so you can always tell how I'm responding. But some people are good at masking. You'll see it in their eyes. You'll see them sort of in a body motion, and that's hard for a lot of people with ADHD to perceive, because they moved on to the next thing already. And so you might want to say, "I'm sorry. And what would you have liked? Maybe what would you have liked me to do or say instead? Or how can I make this How can I make this? How can I make amends for this? So you want to ask some questions.
You can do that. You can also, when you say, I'm sorry, you can come back later and acknowledge, the other day I said, I'm sorry, but I remember, I was upset, right? And I lost it. Or you can even go like, I'm really grateful to you that I was upset the other day and I kind of lost it. And I said, I'm sorry. And I kind of blew it up, but I'm coming back around right now and realizing that, you dealt with me. At least you're acknowledging them. You're actually going out of your way to do something to manage this a little bit. And again, just trying to get people to brainstorm about that reflexive apology to actually, let's stop and try and do something a little bit different with it to kind of manage yourself and to manage expectations of other people and those relationships.
And you want to say what you're going to do differently, because if you do the same thing over and over and you apologize, by the third time your apology has no weight to it. So I clearly keep doing this. It's something I need to work on. I'm seeing a coach, or I'm reading a self-help book, or I'm listening to a podcast. I'm aware that this needs to change. That's a very important part of making amends.
Absolutely. So Sharon, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff. It's always a pleasure to talk with you and hang out.
Everyone, if you're new to our channel, please hit the subscribe button below and leave some comments. We love that. We learn a lot. We'd like to know what you think, ideas, your experiences, etc. I know I try to reply to most of those, and I always forward it to our guests, so I'm sure Sharon wouldn't mind commenting as well. So with that, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.
Thank you.